Hi, it's Money Mike. Today is going to be a little bit different. I don't have my camera, so we will have to use GoPro for this one. But let's get to the point. Today, a new merger was announced between ALUS Energy Acquisition Corp, which is a special purpose acquisition company, and Freyr, which is a battery maker for EV market. The ticker ALUS was supposed to be an oil and gas SPAC, but they pivoted to the SPAC into the energy sector. So this SPAC could be very easily on the radar for many people. As we all know, any battery or EV is hot on this market, joining the winner like Romeo, QuantumScape, and Microvast. Every battery SPAC so far was a huge success, but this one started to trade like it would not have the same potential. So we will talk about this SPAC. Is it on the radar and potential buy, or is it a sell? By the way, this video is not a financial advice. I just share my own due diligence. So I did my research on Freyr, so you could just sit back comfortably and watch. In this video, I will cover what does Freyr do, what are Freyr advantages to competitors, why battery stocks are hot topic today, and is it a buy or is it a sell? So what does Freyr do? Freyr is developing environmentally friendly lithium-ion batteries in Norway. Freyr has plans to supply high energy density and cost competitive clean batteries for rapidly growing markets. So what you should just hear from what I just said is high density, cost competitive, and clean batteries. This is what they do. And Freyr is not just a battery itself. What you are buying with the Freyr is a battery cell production in Europe. For the money that they just raised, they have a plan to build a huge gigafactory with capacity of 43 gigawatts hour annually by 2025. They could become one of the largest battery producers in Europe. And Europe is a strategic place for local car manufacturers. And also Norway is a strategic place for battery experts and also cheap renewable energy that will help build cleaner batteries. And you might ask, who need these batteries? In case you were in the cave for the past year, there's an EV revolution happening right now. While we have a Biden signing a document to change all 600,000 federal vehicles to electric, new EV companies are popping almost every single week. We have so much demand for electric vehicles that battery makers have problems to keep up. Not today, but in a near future. And not just EV companies actually need those batteries. Freyr also focuses on energy storage products and marine applications. To be honest, batteries are a new topic to me. I am not a battery engineer, so I gather most of the data from the internet. So let's go to an investor presentation and we will take it from there. So I'll skip some stuffs which I don't think that are that important. Obviously, team is important, but there is nothing really to point out. So we will go to this part of the presentation. This is what explains what Freyr want to do. So Freyr is today planning to build a 43 gigawatts hour gigafactory, which will have this capacity annually by 2025 to position as Europe one of the largest cell supplier, displacing current dependency on Asia market import. So what are the Freyr advantages to competitors? Well, they are targeting lower battery cell costs. They expect battery cell cost will be $62 per kilowatt hour, which in comparison, experts predict that Tesla battery cell cost price will be about $100 kilowatt per hour by 2023. Again, I'm not an engineer, so I can't compare the quality of those batteries, but we are talking almost about halving the price down from Freyr compared to Tesla. All that while having an 80% lower carbon footprint, which is very important in their statement. So far, I think that companies and people were not addressing the issue of batteries that are highly unsustainable, but I think this will change soon. And here on this map, we can actually see the reason they have a strategical location. They expect electricity prices in Norway compared to Germany are probably 15% lower. You will see that that contributes to actually better margins. Why battery stocks are a hot topic. Now let's talk about demand and supply of batteries and overall capacity in the world. And we'll talk about this article where we will have the headlines battery cells risk supply deficit. And it's pointing out that currently on the world, battery cells production capacity by far exceeds the global demand, which is limited around 140 gigawatts hour per year. By the way, Freyr plans to build by 2025 1/3 of today's capacity, equal to 43 gigawatts hour per year. In the future, that is expected to be 5% of the whole addressable market by 2025. However, as electrifications of road transport accelerates, and what you should understand from it is that the battery is actually going to create a shortfall from 2026 unless more production projects are being to build globally. Up to this point, you could almost say, okay, what is so special about Freyr then? If they are a supplier with so many semi-finished products, the answer is process. Freyr is trying to innovate the conventional solution of making cell productions. They simply try to be more effective and optimize the process rather than invent a new solution like QuantumScape. And that is just my point of view. And Freyr competitive advantage in the cost of battery has three key areas and elements. And the first is Nordic strategic location, which contributes a 3% savings compared to the market average costs on each battery. Special partnership strategy contributes another 3% savings compared to the market average cost. And the last is technology, strategy and manufacturing process, which is 12%, which makes total 18% decrease cost in their battery solution. And here we can look at the timeline. So the timeline shows that they actually are going to have Gigafactory 1 in 2023. From 2023, it will already be operational and it will have 5 gigawatts hour capacity. And then we will have Gigafactory 2, which will be in 2024 with 8 gigawatts hour capacity. And then we will have joint venture Gigafactory 1 with 8 gigawatts hour by 2024. And then they will build Gigafactory 3 by 2025, which will total 43 gigawatts hour. So this factory is not one at a time. They have multiple gigafactories that are going to contribute with the revenue over the time. So you don't have to wait for revenue till 2025. I believe that you are going to expect to see revenue in 2023, maybe potentially 2024. And now let's talk about whether it is a buy or whether it is a sell. I created a simple benchmark of this stock to compare battery SPAC or companies that IPO'd on the market. We have three most important players here that are compared to Freyr, and those are QuantumScape, Microvast, and Romeo. So if we look at this table which I created, we can see that Freyr targets to do 43 gigawatts hour by 2025. Microvast have 4 gigawatts hour today and is building right now 11 gigawatts hour. And they are not sharing, at least I couldn't find when they will finish it. QuantumScape is planning to have 1 gigawatt hour by 2025. And Romeo is having 7 gigawatts per hour today, and I didn't find any information whether they want to increase this capacity. So there are things which you should also consider. That Freyr was founded 2018 and they have strategic locations and also partnerships, but not customers yet. Microvast was founded 2006. They have already EV customers and all these partnerships going on. Then we have QuantumScape, where it's more like of a technology play, not really as much of a massive production in upcoming years. And they have 10 years of research. So they are a research company, I would say. And Romeo, founded in 2016, they are producing everything in USA and they have big customers. If we will take a look at EV to EBITDA, Freyr is currently, for the current price, actually beating all companies, although I didn't find Microvast EV to EBITDA, so who knows where that is. But since all these 4 companies are actually coming or are still SPACs, we can actually compare the prices because all of them was at $10 floor. So we can take a look at that Freyr is actually the cheapest SPAC stock price. And we also have to understand that all these batteries, didn't start at this price. They slowly build it to their current level. So we can see that Freyr actually have very interesting price per stock. And as for the warrant, It's definitely more expensive compared to the common stock, but as well, you are still having the leverage. And I actually like the warrant price still at the current level. I think Microvast is probably the closest to the Freyr as the business model. And at the same time, you can see that the price is the closest, but Microvast is a Chinese manufacturer, at least from what I found. So I actually like this Europe play much more. And also Freyr is also going to build a new factory, which I believe will bring new processes and I just generally believe that they have a better technology, although I don't have actually proof of that. And there's one more important thing which Freyr actually mentioned in their presentation. They have one unannounced OEM partnership, and that could take this stock, I believe, to 2x to their current price. So yes, I believe this stock actually have potential to go, to $20 level, and warrants potentially to maybe, 5 is more comfortable, but like 7, 8 maybe potentially warrant price we could see that definitely. And then from this all-time high, we will probably see the decrease in the price, because we always saw all of these companies almost doubled at some point to their current level, right? I believe Romeo was at some point, $30 stock. QuantumScape was like $90 stock. So people easily overprice these stocks, and then you see a huge decline. So let's talk about what you are actually buying. You're buying a battery gigafactory that will be soon in construction. Freyr was planning, testing and contracting for 2 years, and now they have the capital and almost everything they need to build it. What is their added value is that they are trying to disrupt not the technology, but the process. It is as you would approach the problem, not like EV manufacturers by saying we need more and better batteries. Instead, they ask a different question. They ask what, where, and how would be the most effective way to create a cleaner, cheaper battery. And this is what they did. What I like about this type of a business is that batteries will be some sort of commodity and will be welcomed by the most EV producers. This is why I can't see this company actually not succeeding. Here is some information from the macro perspective. This article points out that the China now hosts about 80% of the world's lithium-ion cell output, but the European Union has said it could be self-sufficient by 2025. For that reason, the European Commission approved 2.9 billion euro, which is around $3.5 billion, European battery innovation. We have massive support from Europe that Freyr could benefit massively. This doesn't show yet on a balance sheet. Here's why to buy. I don't see how this facility would not be finished. The demand simply doesn't allow this facility not to exist. It is valuable for the future of EV. And on the paper, it's not really difficult business. What you really need success is parts from suppliers. You need to place to put it together, and then you need some competitive edge, which could be low cost, process, and strategic place. And they probably have all that. They just raised money from the SPACs. They have almost all contracts they need with the suppliers, and they have a proof of concept. And here is some point why not to buy. This is a long-term play. This stock might see a fast traction now, but in few months after the merger, this is going to be a holding position for a few years. Another drawback is that to understand that this gigafactory capacity doesn't equal revenue. We don't know if they will have the demand to fulfill the capacity of this gigafactory. It could be interesting to play with the arbitrage calculations, like what is the world demands versus the supply, but that's not for me. So question, are they Tesla? No. Are they QuantumScape? No, I don't think so. They are optimizing the manufacturing process, but not necessarily disrupting that. They don't have to. There is a demand. Their margin is a room of safety, in my opinion. If their competitors will decrease their prices, they have a room to play with the price. And full disclosure, I bought ALUS warrants pre-announcement and still hold them. This is actually how I trade SPACs. I'm still holding this SPAC, which is actually a good sign for this SPAC that it might have a great potential. Last time when I decided to keep my SPAC after the announcement, it was SSPK, and that was merging with MeMaps. It ended up paying off well, and I'm betting on this one will join the club of successful SPACs. Again, join me on my Patreon to catch these deals early as I do, we have a SPAC mega sheet to see all the important information about SPACs. Link is in the description. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I'm heavy on SPACs, so actually my content is going to be mostly about them. And with that, stay one step ahead and see you guys next time.